Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be learning how to create this stunning geode piece. Let's learn all the little details of this process. So first of all, I've taken an 8 mm MDF board. The size is 18 by 13 inches. I am priming it with gesso. I am doing it with a sponge to avoid brush strokes. I will just mix some water in the gesso to make it a little thinner. I'll be doing 2 coats of this. So just mix the water properly in the gesso and then dip your sponge and then begin coloring. Make sure you apply ample pressure to the sponge to distribute the color evenly. So just go through all the spots multiple times so that the finish is even. Our canvas is primed and ready. So after it has dried, we will just turn it back, and in all the 4 corners we will be applying this masking or painter's tape to avoid all the resin drips. So if there are any resin drips, we will remove this tape after the process is finished, and all the resin drips will come along with it. So now for the main process, I have placed 4 glass to balance it. 4 glasses for all the 4 corners. Make sure your surface is leveled before you start this process. I am just drawing wherever I am going to place the stones. So I am placing it in 3 places. Leveling is very important, otherwise whatever colors you pour will automatically flow away. So I thought my guideline was smaller after I saw the whole piece, so I just did it bigger from one side. And now we start placing our fire pit crystals. These are not normal stones, this is fire pit crushed glass. So just pile it really well. We also want to give it a little height and dimension, so just don't put it scarcely, otherwise it won't look as good. So pile on top of each other as much as you can and try to stay in the boundary that you created. I've also drawn with pencil wherever I'm going to use the accent colors. Now I'm mixing resin in this plastic jar. I'm using Magnifico Geode resin. This is a 1x1 resin. I've used 380 grams of mixture for this process. So I've used 190 grams of hardener and 190 grams of resin. So after the resin is mixed, we are going to be pouring pigments into this. This is a mica powder. So just pour all the pigments and keep it ready. Let your resin rest for 5 minutes and then start pouring in your glasses. So just pour all the mica pigments till then. I'm going to be mixing various colors. This is a white and gold Silla mica powder, and this is a pure white mica powder. Now I'm using this hack since it will work as a topper. And this is a copper mica powder. So in this pink and copper ones, after I mixed them all, I added a little bit of white opaque pigment to settle them and make them a little pastel. So just pour resin in all your glasses. Along with the mica powder, I have mixed 2 opaque pigments, that is the white one and the pink one that I'll be showing you now. You'll need to mix your mica powders 2 to 3 times, because after your first mix, your unmixed mica powders will float to the top, so then you can mix them. I've also mixed the gold mica powder. As you can see, this is the gold floating pigment to outline all the stones. After the pigments are mixed, just pour resin onto the stones with the help of the ice cream stick. Don't put it all together, otherwise it will lose its shine. So you need to pour it little by little with the help of an ice cream stick. Make sure to cover all the corners. I forgot to cover all the corners, so that's why after my first coat, little bit of stones came out of the corners and I had to reapply them in the second coat again. Just pour really well, because we need to get the resin into the inner layers also. After it is done, you start by pouring the gold pigment onto the border of the stones. Put a very thin line of it, because we can mold in it with marker later on. But if you pour a very thick amount of it, it will spread. So I'm just pouring white opaque pigment after that, and I'm pouring the white and gold mica powder that we mixed. So just pour one by one. You can follow any pattern that you like. I'm not following a specific pattern. I just felt and poured whatever was needed on the canvas. So I'm pouring white mica powder beside that. Acha, whenever you pour, you make sure that you pour the two colors leaving a good gap in between, because if you won't leave gap, the resin will get mixed after some hours, because resin has a tendency to flow. So we need to give it space in between to flow. So this is how I did the second part. As you can see, now I'm pouring the accent colors. So this is the pink opaque pigment, leaving ample space from the stones, otherwise the pink color will leak beneath the stones. And this is the pink mica powder that I mixed, and I mixed some white pigment in it, so it became pastel like that. Now this is the copper mica powder. I also mixed some white in it, as I told you, so it became a good nude shade like that. So this pigment finished, so the line became a little thinner in the end. So make sure you mix an ample amount of the pigment. This is a small mistake that I did, that I did not take the pigment all way through. But whenever you make it, you have to take it all the way through, so that you don't finish it in half. It looks a little odd. So it's better if you take it all the way through. So just fill in all the gaps. After some time, after 5 to 10 minutes, you see whatever gap is still there, you just take some little bit of that pigmented resin, and then you fill all the gaps like that. So our first coat is done. I have added some lines with acrylic markers, and I've also boldened the golden borders with gold markers. See, you can see that there are stones that came out. So now I will be reapplying them in the second layer. So just take small stones for the corners, because if you take larger stones, they won't fit in and they'll fall down again. Always make sure to wear your respirator and gloves while working with resin. If you found this video helpful, then please subscribe to my channel, like and comment this video. It really helps me a lot. I'm a new creator, and it really keeps me motivated to keep creating more videos. So I'm also adding some little bit of stones in the middle to give it more height. Now add more resin to the corners, because we place new stones in them, and then a little bit of resin for the middle part. So some stones fell down because of the resin, so I just reapplied them again. Now just do top coat. Pour the top coat in two sections. Separate it from the middle line, because you don't want the resin to go over the stones that you placed. Just mix it with the help of your fingers. Now after the second coat is cured, I added two hooks in the back with the help of resin. I drew straight line with pencil, and I added the hooks and applied resin on top of it so that it sticks. I also painted the edges with gold marker, and now this is the finished result. I hope you liked the video. I absolutely love the pastels. This color scheme was chosen by my client. The lines of the markers look amazing too. Look at how all these stones are shining. You can tag me or send me a picture if you create a similar piece.